our perception of it, and our projection of it. Does existence mean anything more than what we understand it to mean? At the height of the philosophical movement and the Enlightenment, the words were spoken and uttered, "I think, therefore I am." Well, that's quite an arrogant statement. There are a lot of people who don't think at all, but they're sitting right there. And so again, it just invites the idea that how we perceive our reality is part of our human nature, to project and to use this brain that is the largest among the animals that we know of to understand the world around us. So the question for the 21st century is not to construct a religion to which all peoples on the planet will bow down, is not to construct a religion that will be the one to which every person will ultimately be drawn, given time, education, and understanding. But it is simply for those who need it, a religion that makes sense, a religion that works, a religion that reliably explains and predicts the world that we encounter. And here, primarily that social world of human doings. For we have the science God to explain the rest of it. So what kind of God do we need for a 21st century religion? I submit that we need a concept of God that unleashes our most noble human impulses. One of the problems with the God that does it all, one of the problems with the God that possesses it all, that possesses all virtue, is that it leaves human beings strangely powerless to confront and to defeat and to resist the evil that's right there in front of us. We put it off to the God whose business it is to do. But we need a concept of God that empowers us to do that which we otherwise might not do. We have Ecclesiastes to remind us that since the sentence for evil is postponed, human beings are always ready to do evil. And so we need a concept of God that empowers us to be our best selves. I think that's what Jesus was talking about. When Jesus talked about the empire of God is at hand, when Jesus talked about that everyone was welcome to the table, the bounty of God's creation, when Jesus talked about if you want it, just step into it, Jesus was talking about a different perception of our reality. A reality that would restructure our social relations away from the relations of hierarchy and domination that were not only reflected in the social institutions, but that were in fact reinforced by our view of the solar system. The very hierarchy of the sun, the moon, and the stars was that which empowered the hierarchies of human domination of one over another. I think Jesus was saying to us, there's another way to think about life. One that sees every human being as valued and equal and holy and sacred. And so we need a concept of God that empowers us to love. But not only to love, as Jesus said, those who love us back, but a concept of God that empowers us to love in the face of hate. We need a concept of God that empowers us to share And not just to share with those who we know that next week we can go to their house for dinner and exchange. Not just to share with those from whom we can get a loan later on when we need one, but to share in the time of scarcity. To share not expecting to receive again. We need a concept of God that empowers us to hope. To hope in the face of despair. To hope when all the signs point the opposite way, that things will never get better in this life that we live, and yet through hope we can transform this world in which we live. We need a concept of God that inspires and empowers us to live. And not just live when we're young and life is ahead of us, not just to live when it all is well and we've got everything, all the resources that we need, but to live in the face of death. To live when life is ending. To live more fully then than when life has first begun. That's the kind of God that we need. The idea of God that says, no, life is not going to really get right and really get good after death, but that says that life is really good and is really right every day we take a breath. And so I commend to you again Ecclesiastes. Please go home and read the whole book. For what is there to do but to eat and drink and enjoy the life we live? So we need a God that does not do it all for us, but is the ground not of our being, but is the ground of our loving, our sharing, our hoping, our caring, that is the ground of our living. Let the people of God say, amen.